personally like that because it's programmable, especially, and it grows with your child, and you can program it. Okay, here we go. Here's the white noise. Let me turn the volume up so you can hear the difference in the frequency. You hear that? Little girls can stand this. The little boys that I work with, not so much. That brown noise has a deeper bass sound to it, and it does not have the high frequency, and therefore little boys can stand that. Girls and boys, the frequency in their ears are made up differently. So if you have twins, girl boy twins, I would suggest you use the brown noise, because if you're going to use the app, I would suggest the brown noise because it doesn't bother the little boy. It's just the study that I have done. I've had 38 sets of twins. About 15 of those sets were girl boy twins. And with all the little boys, that noise bothered them. The white noise bothered them. So therefore I used the brown noise. Now, that is the end of my demo. I'm trying to see if I have any questions from anyone tonight. I don't think I do. So, if you have any questions, I'm gonna hang out for a couple of minutes. So if you have any questions about your kids, any mom questions, baby questions, anything, please let me know now so I can answer your questions. If you have not followed me, please do so. Also, I just put out a new video about not cooking with your baby. I know a lot of parents get busy, moms get busy, and they're standing at the stove with baby in one arm, rocking and shaking and doing this, and trying to cook with the other hand. That's dangerous. And I just put a video out about it, and I hope that you all will watch it, take heed to it, because I have been there, I have done that. Things to do with the 9-month-old. I am a stay-at-home mom and working, trying to keep baby engaged and hit mile. Okay, so if your 9-month-old is crawling, I would say a lot of manipulatives, things that he can put in his mouth because he's probably teething. They have, if you're working from home, I would suggest you get one of those play yards. It's like a gate, but it's a huge like circular gate, so that your baby is contained but has enough room to crawl around and explore with their toys. That way you can watch him while you do your work and he's entertained. I would suggest things that make noise. Babies like to hear noises and things that will, when I say engage them, if they push it, something happens. If they pull it, something happens. If they bang on it, something happens. Cause and effect toys. They're in the exploratory, yes, working from home too. They're in an exploratory stage of how does this work? What's going on around me? If you're working, you might not want to give them pots and pans, but kids love to play with pots and pans, and they love to play in your Tupperware drawer. If you have and when I say Tupperware, the plastics, storage containers, they love taking those out, putting them back in, trying to fit the tops on top of each other, figuring out how they work, banging them on the floor. It's not a toy, but it's exploring, and that's what they love to do. They love to explore. They're finally crawling. I can see above the ground. I'm not down at tummy level. I'm up here, and I'm finally. And some of them are pulling up, trying to walk. So I would suggest if you have I like the little Tykes. It's a little red and blue little a push toy. You can ride on it, but on the back it has like a yellow handle on the back. It's just tall enough for them to grab onto and push as they learn how to walk. If you have one of those toys, those are good. If you're more into the Montessori, I would get that. If you're more into the bells and the whistles and you don't mind the lights and the sounds, there's also walkers that have like a little telephone on it. When you pick up the telephone, it says hello to them. If you push the button this way, it lights up. If you push the triangle, it says triangle. If it's a square, it says square. All of those toys that light up and initiate a cause and effect. If I spin a little wheel, it's going to sing a song. If I touch this, it's going to say blue. All of those things keep them. Yes, we have plenty of Tupperware. Thank you. He's crawling and pulling up. We'll get a gate soon. Great. All of those things to keep them engaged because they're into cause and effect. They're past the little rattle that kind of makes the little noise. They're more into what else you got for me. So if you get a what else you got for me, yeah, the Tupperware, the like I said, the pots and pans, although that may get kind of loud if you're working from home, but they like playing with toys and not toys. A box. If you have like a refrigerator box or a stove box, or just go buy a big box from Walmart, the extra large box that they can crawl in and out of. And it makes a good hiding spot. Put a little blanket in there, make them a little quiet area in there. That way, it's their own little toy. Put some toys off in there. Entice them to go in and look. Those things they will play with more than they will the toys that you have bought them. I promise you that. Because it's unconventional. It's not something I'm supposed to be attracted to, but they are. It's just what kids do. Especially at 9 months old. They are curious to know what is going on. And if you give them a place to explore and figure it out, and if they get stuck, don't readily go rescue them. Let them figure it out. Now, if they're in danger, yes, go rescue them. But if they're just stuck and they're frustrated because they're stuck and they're trying to figure out, how do I get through here? Let them figure it out. That's critical thinking going on. Let them try to figure out which way, okay, well, if I put my foot through here and I tuck my head under, I can get through here. Let them figure those things out. That's what, the curiosity in them, the critical thinking part of them, that's what they need to do. So it's a stage of development. Now, let me see if I have any other questions. We'll get the gate soon. Okay, so if you get a gate, if you have a section of your home or room that you can section off, I've worked with several families, and they have like a breakfast area that's kind of enclosed. They will change that, turn that into a little play area in the kitchen area, put a little gate on there so mom can cook safely and she can watch the baby at the same time. He's playing, he's satisfied, he's looking at you, you're looking at him, and it is perfect for mom and baby because it allows the child to be independent, play independently, but also know that mommy's here if I need her, or daddy's here, or whoever's in the kitchen cooking while they're in there playing. It gives you an opportunity to get some things done. I was trying to see if I had any more questions. So, does anybody else have any questions while I'm here? I'll wait a few more minutes. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're welcome. I hope I gave you enough information so at least to get you started with your child. I don't see any more questions. Let me see. My phone is moving because I have this stand that's kind of on a wire. So every time I touch it, it kind of bounces up and down. It looked fun when I got it, but right now, if I let it go, it's gonna bounce. Are temper tantrums falling out normal for a 10-month-old? Yes, yes. Temper tantrums are normal. They start anywhere between 4 to 5 months. 2-year-olds do not have everybody says it's a 2-year-old tantrum. They are not the only ones that have tantrums. They started around 4 or 5 months old. When your child becomes aware that my voice has power, and if I cry long enough and loud enough, I'll get my way. They'll give in and give it to me. Then yeah, temper tantrum started around 6 months, between 4 to 6 months, because that's when they're starting to realize my voice has power. And that's why I tell moms, determine between a whine and a cry. And determine between the cries that are, I'm just tired, or I'm hungry, or I'm sleepy, or hurry up and come get me because I am in trouble. I really need your help. There's something going on wrong. Determine those cries. And that way you can determine, okay, I'll leave him alone, let him see if he'll self-soothe and go back to sleep, or start, find something else to occupy him, because babies are easily distracted. If you shake or rattle, they're crying and all of a sudden they stop. There was really nothing wrong. I just needed some attention. I just needed you to acknowledge that I'm ready to do something else. So if you provide enough toys to stimulate your child, enough, I shouldn't say toys, but objects, because, the plastic, Tupperware, all that stuff, they like to play with that. They like to play with pots and pans and bang them together and see what they do. They like to go crawl into the kitchen. Now, the only safe space that I create for my kids in the kitchen is an end drawer, away from the stove, away from the refrigerator, and I have just one cabinet with just their stuff in it. Plastic things that they can take out, play with, do whatever they want to. If you don't have a safe space, create a little shelf for them. And when I say a little shelf, make sure it's sturdy enough where it won't topple over on them, so that they can go by and they can grab things. And it's specifically for them. And when they get done playing, help them to put it away. The sooner you start, I would say about 10, 11 months, the sooner you start trying to help them put things away, even if you have to put your hand over their hand and make them pick up the thing and then you drop it off into something, or the bucket or whatever, put it back on the shelf. Help them to clean up. Let them know that when you make a mess, you clean up. It creates independence and order, and it's skills that they will use for the rest of their lives. And it also lets them know that I expect you to clean up when you make a mess. So all these things are going on. You're teaching your child as they are playing. But the 10-month-old temper tantrums, yes, they are very normal, and they will all of a sudden you do something that they don't like, and they have your hands ready because they fall backwards. Like, you're going to catch them. They just assured that you are going to catch them because you're the mama, or you're the daddy, or the grandma. You are the adult that I trusted with my life for you to pick me up. So when I pitch this fit and I throw myself backwards, I'm expecting you your reflexes to be quick enough to catch me. I'm not going to fall. I'm not going to get hurt because I'm trusting you. But yes. Hi, Emily. How are you? Okay. I hope that made her happy. So, are there any more questions? If you're just joining, I did a demonstration about the Baby Hatch. It's a sound machine. And I also showed an app that if you don't have a sound machine and you don't want to buy this particular sound machine, then you can get the app. It has, oh my goodness, about, I guess, 20 or 30 different sounds on there. What to give your baby if they are constipated. Okay, so I don't like giving babies, it depends on the age. If they are eating, if they're old enough to eat, give them something with fiber like pears or apples. If they are younger than that and they're not old enough to eat, or they're still drinking formula or breast milk, that's their main diet. I'm gonna show you something with this that will help with my baby. I always bring my baby with me. So I'm gonna sit my baby. Hold on, I'm gonna have to adjust the camera so that you can see what I'm doing with baby. Okay, so I got baby here, and lean baby forward and backwards. When you lean baby forward and backwards, it works those core muscles right here, which will help it helps to move what's in there. Now it may take a while. I would, must give a baby massage. If you got your baby here and you lean them back and forth, and make sure you keep your hands here because you want to work these muscles right here, which help to move. Yeah, if you put your baby on your lap, okay, do the bicycles. Bicycles help your baby right here in the core muscles. If you're going back and forth, it's working all those muscles in the tummy. And when you're working those muscles in the tummy, just push them back and forth. And if your baby stops drinking in the middle of, you're feeding them and they stop eating, that could be a sign of I'm constipated and I need to go. And they get uncomfortable because it's like they hit a block. The milk goes down and then it hits the block. And then if they don't release what's in them, it's like I can't put anything else in here because I need to go poop. So work them back and forth to work those tummy muscles. Do the bicycles. And if you have to, do some leg lifts. Do tummy time. Put them on their tummy because when they're on their tummy, their backs go like this, which works the core muscles. They have to use their hands and their core muscles to lift their head up. So you want your baby to be able to, the movement helps move all this in here, all the movement. So keep moving your baby. And if that doesn't help, please check with your pediatrician. But just so you know, depends on the age of your baby. Most babies don't poop every day. They can go up to 3 to 4 days without pooping. Now, it probably is going to get uncomfortable by day 3 or 4, but it is normal for your baby not to poop every day. If they are breastfed, they probably will poop every day because it's a totally different enzymes that is in breast milk than it is in formula. But breastfed babies normally poop at least once a day. Let me go back down. Let's see. It's crazy. I just got on and was about to ask you about constipation. Well, those are some tricks and tips that you can do for constipation. And if your baby starts getting in distress, please check with your baby's doctor to make sure that their pediatrician can recommend something for them. I do not recommend medications for babies, especially, internal medicines, because I don't want you to give your baby too much and say, that lady asked the nanny, she said to do this, and I followed your directions and it hurt my child. No, that's not me. I am not a doctor. I cannot prescribe medicines for you. So I don't even do Tylenol and Motrin. I will tell you the difference between the two, but I don't prescribe anything because I am not licensed to prescribe anything. So I will give you some home homeopathic ways, some natural ways to get it done, but I don't do medicines. Okay, I'm gonna give me another stand, especially for this because this is not working very well. Starting solids 4 months or 6 months. Again, it depends on what your doctor. It depends on what your doctor says. Your pediatrician. Everybody's different. If your child is a preemie, it may depend. A lot of factors depend on when you start feeding your baby. Check with your pediatrician because your pediatrician knows your baby best, and then go from there. But babies do usually start eating between 4 to 6 months. So I will tell you that. Most babies start eating between 4 to 6 months. It just depends on your pediatrician. What are good exercises to get baby to stand on feet instead of on tippy toes? 10 months, but 7 adjusted. Okay. If it's 7 months adjusted, then he's right on schedule to stand on his tippy toes because that's what they do first, especially in the if we're adjusting the chronological age and the biological age. So if he was born early and you're adjusting to the 7 month old, 7 month olds usually start out standing on their tippy toes and then they adjust. I would try bouncing them, or when you're holding your baby, instead of just kind of massage their feet like this. And when you're bouncing them, of course I can do this with the doll. When you're bouncing them on your knee, like this is your lap right here, instead of them letting them go on their tippy toes, kind of adjust their body so they can feel their whole foot up under them. And when they start to stand up, they will adjust back to, instead of you bending them over so they can feel their feet up under them, they will adjust in order to walk. The same with when you try to help your child roll over. I like to hold their hand and put my hand on their back and help them roll so they can adjust those core muscles. And then all of a sudden you grab their hand and they just start flipping. And they're like, "Oh, I'm supposed to flip. She grabbed my hand. I'm supposed to flip." So when he starts touching his feet, "Oh, I'm standing up. I'm supposed to put my whole foot down." You have to train your child to do the things that you want them to do. It takes steps, baby steps, and I, no pun intended, but it does take baby steps. So make sure that your child's feet are flat. Even if you want to hold them in your hand, hold them flat and kind of let it hold your baby and kind of just push up under their feet so they can feel the whole foot down flat instead of them on the tippy toes. But for a 7 month old, tippy toes is perfectly normal. And there are some children who actually walk And when they walk, they still walking on their tippy toes. So he may be a tiptoe walker. Let's see if I have any more questions. We got the solids. We talked about that. Let me see. I think that was all the questions. I think I got everybody. Let me go back up one more time and make sure that I got everybody's questions. Okay. I'm trying not to leave anybody out. Let's see. Okay. Well, thank you. I love Jesus too. So, last call for questions. I've tried moving her toys. Okay, I missed something. Trina in Texas. Let me go back up and see what I missed. Was there? How many ounces should a 2 month old should be eating? Okay, most 2 month olds are drinking between. Let me hold my camera. Most 2 month olds are drinking anywhere between 3 to 5 ounces. In order to be on the healthy, well, your pediatrician has this chart, and it has a graph. It has a scale, a curve, and they want the kids to be close to the curve. So if your child is 2 months old, that would be 8 weeks, 8 so she or he should be drinking at least 3 to 5 ounces, closer to 5 than 3, at every setting, and should be eating at least every 3 hours. And even with breast milk, it's hard if you're breastfeeding. It's hard to tell unless you're using express breast milk. It's hard to tell how much they're eating, but at least 3 to 5 ounces, closer to the 5 ounce than the 3 ounce, because if they're closer to the 3 ounce, they're just kind of barely on the scale. So you want them at least kind of in the 50 percentile, which is between closer to 5 ounces, somewhere between 4 to 5 ounces. Okay. Someone said something about some toys. I tried our toys. What are good methods to help baby stay? Hold on. What are good methods to help a baby stay reaching at 4 months? I laid the baby. She's been. Oh no. She's been rolling all around, but only rolls to the right. Okay, so as far as the reaching, lay your baby on their back. Okay. Let me lay it like this, and let me grab something. We're gonna pretend this is a toy. This is too small for the baby, but we're gonna pretend this is a big enough toy for the child to grab, and hold it like this, within arm's length, and let them touch the toy. And if they're only reaching with one hand, put it over to the other one. I start out early with rattles and things, and I will unfold their hands and put it in their hands to see how long they can hold it. If they're going like this and it flies out, I do the same thing on both sides, even sides. And you need to practice on both sides of holding things. And then when they start reaching for things, they are going to have a dominant hand. Whether it's left or right, they will have a dominant hand. And if you hold it like this between both hands, they'll try to touch it, but they can't grasp it because it has brain. The brain has to send signals to open your hand and grab. And it depends on the age. They're opening their hand to grab, and when they're opening their hands to grab, they miss sometimes, or they'll get it with these three fingers and these two fingers and the other three fingers, and when they go to pull it to their mouth, because that's what they normally do, is pull it to their mouth. When they go to pull it to their mouth, because the thumb is not attached around like this, they will drop it. Just keep putting it right there. I like for them to be on their back because it works the shoulder muscles, the reach muscles. I like for them to be on their back because it makes them go like this. And they have to reach for it. If they want it bad enough, they'll swat at it. They'll reach for it. And eventually their brains will be like, okay, let me open my hands. They still depends on how much you work with them as to how quickly they grasp. The thumb needs to be in place in order to grab it. So work with them. Open their fingers, put it inside, and wrap their thumb around it so they can get the concept. My hand needs to be wrapped around it. My thumb needs to be wrapped around it. They need those fine motor. That's what you're working on, fine motor. Fine motor works with the fingers. And pull their hands open. Unpry their hands because they hold their hands real tight. Unpry their hands and let them hold on to it. Even if you have to hold it in their hand and just kind of go like this. Take their hand and go like this. Try the other hand, same amount of time. Go like this with the toy in their hand. And then as they get stronger, let them hold it, and you just do your hands like that. And then when they really get stronger, they will start doing it themselves. But just be careful the type of toy that you give them, because they still don't have enough control over their hands. If you have a wooden toy, like some of the wooden rattles, they hit themselves, and then it's like they scream, and they don't have anything else to do with that toy for a while. So, like I said, be careful with the toy. I would start with soft toys that are big enough for them to grasp around their hands, and not too small, because you want them to be able to open their hand, expand their hands. If you're giving them something that'll fit right inside their hand, like this pen, it fits inside my hand. My hand is not exercising. It's not opening up. You want them to have something that's bigger, so that they have to put their hands around it. So they can get their hands around it. And if they get their hands around it, it stretches those muscles out. It works those fine motor skills. So continue to work those fine motor skills by handing. And if they're reaching with one hand in particular, that's probably going to be their dominant hand. But still work out the other hand. She's been rolling all the way around for about 2 weeks now, but only rolls toward the right. They have a favorite side. Practice with them. If they're rolling to one side, practice them, and they got that one side, practice rolling them to the other side. They may be stubborn and don't want to do it the first few times, but keep practicing rolling both ways. If you notice they're rolling one way, they will eventually start rolling the other way when they figure it out. But if they're rolling one way, they have figured it out. Oh, I got this. I can do this. And it's an accomplishment for them. But continue to practice with them rolling the other way. Because if you practice with them rolling the other way instead of that one way, it strengthens the other side of their body. So get both sides of their body strengthened at the same time. And the time when I say practice, spend about roll them the other way about 3 or 4 times, and then let it go, because you don't want them to not want to roll at all. Because if I roll this way, she's gonna come over here, she's gonna grab my hand, and then she's gonna make me roll the other way. No, just gently practice with them, and then let it go. Let them have and do what they want to do. So if they're doing what they want to do, as long as they're active and they keep rolling, the development keeps working, keeps going and keeps going, they will eventually start rolling the other way. It's just that I learned how to go on this side first, and so it's easier for me to do it. We all have things that are hard for us to do and easy for us to do. We don't want to do. We do the easy stuff first. Oh, it's easier for me to do this, so I'm gonna do it that way. How many times do you avoid doing it the hard way, and you go to take the easy way out? Your babies are the same thing. Do the same thing. She is 6 months. She has rolled tummy back since 4 months, and just started rolling back to tummy. Cool. Then she's progressing right along. And let me say this, your baby is not going to match the books that you read. I promise you, they are not going to match the books that you read. The books that you read are guidelines. They are not the gospel. So please don't measure your baby by a book. Now, if they are like 6 months, 3 or 4 months behind on what's going on, what they're supposed to be doing, then yes, be concerned. But if your child is a month old and they say, oh, they're supposed to be doing this, they're supposed to be doing that, oh no, my baby's not doing it, don't get worried. Babies progress at their own speed, and it depends on how much you're working with them on whatever it is, the milestone that they need to reach. It depends on how much you're working on them with it, and your baby's willingness to try as to how fast they progress. What are some good methods to help babies stay true? Okay, I think I answered those. Okay, I had some questions at the bottom. All right, so exercises, things that I do with my baby. I do have a tummy time video if you want to watch that one. But also during tummy time, what age can a baby drink water? Usually babies start drinking water somewhere between 9 to 12 months. But before you start giving your baby water, please check with your pediatrician. I know most milk is made with water, but it's not pure water. And I say pure water, I mean just plain water. So check with your baby's pediatrician before you start giving them water. And I'm holding this baby like it's, one of my babies. Hi, how's it going? I'm good. How are you? Do you have a question? Do you have a formula you recommend? Okay, so me and formula, there's so many, I've used so many different formulas. It depends on the baby. It depends on the baby's needs as to what formula your baby needs. Some babies are allergic to the milk enzymes, so they drink Alimentum, which is made by Similac. Some babies have queasy stomachs, so they use the Gentle Ease formulas. Some babies, like my oldest son, had no problem. He straight Similac with iron. My middle son, he had reflux, and so he was on Nutramigen, which was easier on the stomach, and it stinks. Whatever it may have been good for him, but that was some stinky milk. So me recommending a formula for you, I don't know your baby. I don't know your baby's special needs. So I can't readily say, oh, well, give them this or give them that. But most of the babies, a majority of the babies that I have drank Similac Pro Advance in the silver one, not the gold one. So I can say that most of the a lot of the babies that I have worked with that had no medical issues or anything, no allergies, they drank the Similac Pro Advance. Okay, I'm looking at the questions and seeing what questions I have. Um, how do you help soothe a 3-month-old who only wants mom to put her to sleep? You That's going to take time. That's going to take patience, and that's going to take retraining your child's mind. Are you breastfeeding? Because if you're breastfeeding, that your baby has a special bond with you, and not that babies, other moms don't have special bonds with their babies, but breastfed babies feed for comfort. They know that you carrying the milk. They know, no, I don't want you because you don't feed me like mama feeds me. They feed for comfort. They feed because they feel safe and secure, and they smell your milk. Nobody else has that smell. They smell, if you are breastfeeding, they smell your milk. And because they smell your milk and they're familiar with that smell, that's the smell they want when they're going to sleep. Now, if your baby is formula fed or express breast milk fed, then I would suggest that during nap time, or start with nap time. Nighttime, you don't want to mess with if they're sleeping well. But especially at nap time, I would suggest that you and your husband, or you and the nanny, or you and or whoever is putting the child down, that you take turns. Let her slowly get adjusted to whomever is in the room with you, and you all take turns putting the baby down. Let her see more than one person in the room and helping to change pampers and helping during that routine that you have before she goes to sleep. If someone else is helping with that routine, then they become, oh, mama trusts them to be in here. Oh, then I guess I'll trust them too. Babies take their cues from you. And believe it or not, they are watching, and just because they're little people, and that's why I call them little adults, does not mean just because they can't tell you and physically express to you what they're feeling and what's going on, does not mean that they're not thinking and that they can't comprehend what you're saying and what's going on. That's why it's so important that you talk to your child and forecast, so that as you're doing putting on the clothes, I'm putting your arm in, the sleeve, right sleeve. I'm doing putting it on your left sleeve. I'm putting your pants on your right leg and putting your pants on your left leg. All those things, you're teaching your child what's going on, so that they can understand language acquisition. They can understand what you're saying. They can follow along with what you're saying. Certain words that you say, they'll turn their heads and like, oh, she heard me. Yes, your babies know. So take turns and show your baby that you trust whatever other person is in the room with you to help with changing the pamper, with putting in the sleep sack, or the swaddle, or whatever the case may be, so that they can get used to that person being there during that time, at the you and that person at the same time. So if both of you all are doing it together, so when in your absence, they're not, oh, well, mommy's not here, but my other safe person is here. So they'll trust that other safe person. Now that, like I said, that's gonna take time. Your baby's probably gonna cry and protest because they're 3 months old. At 3 months old, they're pretty smart, and they're like, "Oh, you can't fool me. I know you're not my mama. Who do you think you are coming here to change my pamper?" And they will cry, but just keep talking to them. Find a small voice, and it's when my babies don't want to go away from mama, I just put them on my shoulder and I pat them. I say, "Okay, you're okay. I got you." And I just kind of lean my head over, and contact is so important. A loving contact, knowing that I'm okay. All right, I'm soothing. They okay, you're okay. And I just kind of pat their back. I know you're upset. Voice what's going on. They're upset. They're mad. You're not the person. You're not my person. You're not my mama. You're not the person that normally do this. Acknowledge that. Let them know, I understand you're upset that mommy's not here, but I got you and you're okay. And I even tell my 3 month old that I'm working with now, I tell her, I said, breathe, breathe. Because she gets so mad and she's like, and I said, breathe, breathe, it's okay. And most of the time they're tired or overtired and they're fighting sleep in the first place. And then the wrong person's putting them down. So that gives them another reason to be upset. So just pat them on the back, reassure them they're okay, rock back and forth. If they prefer the bounce, then do the bounce. If they prefer this rocking, whatever they prefer. And sometimes it takes 5 or 6 different times to figure out, okay, do you like the bounce? Do you like the rock? Do you like this rocking? But talk to them and say, you're okay. And I usually just kind of lean my head up against theirs and give them that skin to skin contact. Because, usually the baby's a ball, so they can feel it anyway. So just give them that skin to skin contact and just kind of gently say, okay, I know that you're upset. It's okay. You're going to be okay. And even if you have to walk, keep talking to them in a calm, cool voice because babies pick up on your emotions. And if you're like, okay, it's going to be okay. All right, okay. They can tell that you're anxious, that you're upset, and it's upsetting them because you're upset. You're supposed to be an adult. You're supposed to be calming me down. Why are you upset? I'm the one that doesn't have my person here. They have one track minds sometimes. We have one track minds sometimes. But when you get that small voice calming, it soothes. And you may have to talk for a while until it just keep your cool. And you need to breathe too. So when the baby's crying, you're like, okay, let's breathe together. All right, we're gonna make this through. We're gonna make it through this. Yes, be me and you. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. And they'll keep crying and keep crying, but you need to keep your cool because the calmer you stay, it brings their calmness. They can feel you. They can feel your heartbeat. They can feel your nervousness. If you've ever had a baby and if you ever handed your baby off to somebody that's nervous and they're holding them and they're like, okay, how do I do this? That baby's gonna start crying like, "Mama, come get me." They don't know what they're doing. I don't like this. I don't trust them. Come get me now. That's what your baby. That's basically what your baby's saying in the cry. In that cry, I'm scared. They gonna drop me. So it's the same thing. They feel you. They feel your nervousness. They feel what's going on. So give them some calmness. You calm, they're calm. Talk softly and reassure them they're okay. Express what they're feeling. I know you're upset that so and so's not here. Just keep talking and calm them down. And once they start calming down, just stop talking and keep patting and keep rocking. Because more than likely they're sleepy and they'll fall on to sleep. Just saying. How do I get my 1-year-old to speak? Okay. Is your 1-year-old babbling at all? And has he conditioned you, if he points, that he's going to get what he wants? If some babies don't speak because they can go and they get what they want. And mom and dad is like, oh, you want this? Oh, you want that? Oh, you want that? Eh, eh. If you don't encourage them to use their words, do you want a cracker? Do you want a banana? Also, teaching sign language gives them a way of communicating. Do you want a banana? Do you want an apple? Do you want a peach? What do you want? And that way, if they can use sign language because they haven't, they're not able to speak yet, if they can use sign language, they can tell you banana. They can sign banana. They can speak to you. Now, my next question is, have you had their ears checked? I had a 1-year-old who was not speaking. He was grunting. When I got him, but he kept having reoccurring ear infections. And I found out when I took him to the ENT, the ear, nose, and throat doctor, he could not hear because fluid was backed up on his ears. So his grunting was what he was hearing. And if he's not hearing clear words, then he's not going to be able to speak clear words. He's going to grunt, and is what he's going to say because that's what he's hearing. So if he doesn't have a hearing problem, if it's just getting what he wants by pointing and grunting, that's one thing. But if he honestly cannot hear, then that's totally different. And if you get his ears checked, get the adenoids and the tonsils checked too. Because I've had one who had adenoids and tonsils taken out, and these are my own children. I had one who had adenoids and tonsils taken out, and one who had adenoids and tubes, 3 sets of tubes in his ears. And he could not hear the first year of his life. He got tubes when he was 13 months old. So, and when he finally got the tubes, now he caught up on his speech real quick because he could hear. But not being able to speak at 1-year-old, and when you say speak, are you talking sentences? Because a 1-year-old normally does not talk in sentences. They have about 20 or 30 words that they use consistently by the time they're a year old. So, background information would be helpful on that one. Not sure if you answered already yet, but sorry. Okay. She babbles but does not say words. Okay. Again, have you had her ears checked? Because if her ears, if there's something going on in her ears, what she's hearing is what's going on inside of her head. She knows she's supposed to babble. It's a natural thing to babble, but not saying words or trying to say consonants or mama, dada, anything like that, a baba. Those are natural sounds that a child, 8, 9 months old, even some even before then starts, cooing and gurgling and babbling. But if it's none of those, get her ears checked. I'm good, thank you. I just want to say I love your videos. Very informative. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so glad they're helpful. Which bottles do you recommend? I have the regular brown bottles and Option Plus, and they always leak. Yes, I love Dr. Brown's bottles. And what I have found is when you warm them up in the bottle warmer, it expands that the plastic. What you have to do is unscrew it completely and then screw it back and it'll stop leaking. but you have to do that every time. As fabulous as they are, that's my one complaint, is that I have to unscrew it and then rescrew it because they leak. I wish it was perfect, but they do work. They have worked for a long time with a lot of babies, especially my reflux babies. And for those of you who don't know, the regular Dr. Brown's bottles have the blue stem, and the option plus, which is for it has the green stem. The green stem is smaller than the blue stem, and it is on the caps. You can, on the option, you don't have to use the aerator, the little green plug in there. But I like using the green plug simply because, especially with my colicky babies, it keeps a lot of the air out. But I love the regular brown bottles, and I love the option plus. So what I'll do is I'll make a video and show you the difference between, because a lot of people are not going to buy both. So I'll make a video and show you the difference between the Dr. Brown bottles, the blue kind, and the Dr. Brown bottles with the green option. So it's two different, one is bigger than the other. And so, yeah, I'll make a video about that and show you all the difference. But I can't help you with the leaks because mine leak too. But I love those bottles because they are so good for the gassy babies. And I think I have reached all my questions. Wait a minute. Okay, let me see what time it is. Wow, I've been over here for over an hour. Okay. All right. Now, if there are no more questions, thank you all for joining me tonight. If you haven't followed me, please go follow me. Also, I am starting an Ask the Nanny community on Patreon. You can find me at patreon.com/ATNanny. Please join me there. I'll have live question and answers, exclusive things that I'll be doing over there. Don't take the bottle. Why am I getting parts of sentences? Thank you. She has no specific needs. She's on Pro Advance. Oh, okay. Then good. Do you like the Pro Advance? Is that the problem? Do you like the Pro Advance or you don't like the Pro Advance? Any tips for my 8-year-old? Dr. Brown's is better than Advent. I like Dr. Brown's over the Advent bottles. That's just my personal choice. I like it because a lot of my babies are breastfed, and the long nipple, elongated nipple, is more like the breast, and it latches in the back of their mouths, as opposed to the big wide mouth ones that Advent has, and their lips kind of expand out, and they don't get a good latch in the back because that's where the milk drops off, where the rhythm of their tongue in sucking the milk in is not as well as it is with the long nipples on the Dr. Brown bottles. Now, Dr. Brown does have a wide mouth bottle, but I don't like the wide mouth bottle. I like the smaller bottles, even though I have some for demonstration. What do you think of the Tummy Tippy bottles? They're okay, but for my colicky babies, I don't like them for my colicky babies. I like the Dr. Brown bottles better than I like than any other bottle. I've used a lot of them. The ones that are shaped like the breast, that are supposed to be, they got the big wide top of it. I just found that, especially my babies that are breastfed, and the ones that have reflux and a lot of tummy issues, the Dr. Brown's bottle, the long skinny one, nipple, works a whole lot better than the wide mouth, because it lets a lot of air in through the sides, because their lips don't latch down completely over it to lock out all the air. But that's just my opinion. Let's see. I think that's it. But as I was saying, um, please join me in my Ascending community on patreon.com. Um, you can also join from my webpage at atnanny.com. But like I said, there's a lot more that I share there, that I will share there than I share here. I have one-on-one. If you need one-on-one help, I will be here. I have 20 slots for one-on-one care, and I think 5 of them are probably already taken from last week's conversations. So she favors Dr. Brown above all. Good, but that's just my opinion. I love Dr. Brown's. Sent you a message about her background information as far as her not speaking. Okay, thank you. I will get back to you on that, because I'm a baby sign language instructor, and I've also had a child who's had chronic ear infections, and that was the reason he wasn't speaking. So I know a lot about ears. So I will help you if I can't help you. I know how to get you to the place where you can get some help. Get you to some people to help you. I know a lot of in my line of work, you have a Rolodex of people on speed dial. When to introduce a newborn breastfed baby to the bottle? Real quick, please. Okay, so if you're doing express milk, I would start early, doing like half and half. That way, if something happens, and I'm on my way home from the grocery store, there's milk in the refrigerator. Can you give her the milk? And she's never had a bottle. You're like, I would start early. Make sure it's warm, because your milk does not come out cold. So make sure the expressed breast milk is warm to at least your body temperature. And that way, when it comes out, I'm not talking hot, just warm, she'll accept it better. And you need to find a bottle that she likes. Again, I suggest Dr. Brown's, but start as soon as possible. Because that way, dad and aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, whoever is there can help you. And I would also suggest that when you breastfeed, pump afterwards, because more than likely your baby's not going to clear out your breast the first time, when she feeds the first few months. Best bottle warmer or Dr. Brown's? The bottle warmers, they vary. I like Dr. Brown's bottle warmers. I like the bottles better, but I've used several warmers. So I mean, to me, I don't have a preference on bottle warmers, but if I'm gonna use Dr. Brown's bottles, I'll use the Dr. Brown's warmer and call it a day. I did also today, just so you know, today I put out when you sterilize your bottles and your breastfeeding equipment. I put out a video about a sterilizer. I like this sterilizer because this is the one that we're currently using. But there are several other sterilizers out there on the market that also they sterilize and they dry the bottles. I love that because I don't like that filmy. You know how when you open the dishwasher, and if you don't put that finish stuff in there, you have like those little water rings on it, little water spots on it. Well, this sterilizer dries the everything in the container. Everything that's in there. It sterilizes, it steams it, sterilizes, and then dries it. Now it takes about 45 minutes, but it is so worth it. You just take them out and, hang them on the rack. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. I had another question. Thank you so much. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. How do you clean the belly button after the baby is born? You don't clean the baby belly button after the baby is born. You wait until the umbilical cord falls off. Do not, whatever you do not try to clean it. It takes about 7 to 10 days and it will fall off on its own. Don't tug it to help it because you pull something that doesn't need to be pulled. Let it fall off on its own. If you're putting the Pampers on, and most newborns, the Pampers don't fit well. Fold the pamper down on when you. Let me see. Let me take this pamper off my baby. Whoops, my baby doesn't have a pamper on. Usually she has a pamper on. I'm so sorry, but anyway, hold on. Here we go. I got a paper towel. Now this is your pamper, like this. This is the front of your pamper right here. Fold that pamper down in the front so that it's up in the back and it's down in the front. And the little cord, the little belly button is, I'm sorry, I'm out of the camera. Fold it down in the front. And the little belly button is here. This is the front and this is the back of the pamper. So this is on their little tush and this is the front on their little tummy. Fold it down and put the little flaps around here so that this does not touch their umbilical cord. Most of the preemie diapers, and I think some of the number ones, have a little U-shaped cutout in them just for that. But some babies are still too tiny, so fold it over so it will not touch their umbilical cord. It won't rub up against it and cause it distress. Because what you don't want is a bleeding cord. So fold it so it does not, and wait on it to fall out. And once it falls off, then you can give your baby a bath. And you just bathe them normally. And when you bathe your baby, and I probably will do a video about that, start from head to toe. Don't wash the little private parts and then put it all up in their face. That's bacteria. And you call it sometimes, if they're not, just have poopy pamper or whatever, wash their face, start with their hair, wash on down, and keep washing on down. And then, because normally what's going to hit the floor and what's going to get dirty is from their waist down. You do not want waste on their face. You don't want to wash their little private parts first and then same towel using, in the same water, using that to wash their face. Don't do that. Head to toe. Clean. Someone said something about, thank you, my mom is gonna have a baby and I don't know much, and so it's good to ask so I can help. Aw, that's so sweet of you. I'm glad that you're helping your mom. I started babysitting at age 11 and I will be 55 this year, so I've been at this for a while. Okay. All right. Are you familiar with? Yes, I am familiar with placenta encapsulation. I do not do that. I know several people who do, but I am familiar with it. I don't know what all goes into that procedure, but I'm familiar with it. You are so you're so amazing. I love your videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our baby's cord just fell off, but time for a bath. Yay! What would you do if a baby hit their head while what would you do if a baby hit their head while babysitting? Um, if I had a baby in my care that hit their head while I was babysitting, first of all, before you start babysitting, get CPR certified so you'll know what to do. That's first. I've had CPR at least renewal about 20 some odd times because it's renewal every 2 years. Get CPR first of all. But what I would do if the baby hit their head, uh, ice. And they make these little fuzzy, uh, and they're the little fuzzy pouches that you put in your freezer, and they're bendable. It's full of mushy ice, should I say? It's a liquid in there that stays mushy, but it's cold. You put ice, and I call the parent. Your child has hit their head because by the time mama gets home, it could be a big bruise up there, a big knot up there, and if it starts rising up into a knot, we're going to emergency care to the pediatrician. I'm calling mom and saying, okay, baby just hit her head. We got a knot forming. If mama said take him to the doctor, that's where we going. Mama said bring him to me, that's what we doing. But on my watch, yeah, we ain't going there. Ice on it. Call parents. If it's an emergency, if it's cut or whatever, we going to the emergency room. We gonna get it taken care of. Love the video I just saw. Interaction with that sweet little baby. Ah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I love my babies. I always interact with, talk to your babies. Talk to your babies, talk to your babies, talk to your babies. Let them know what's going on in the world around them. Talk to your babies. So, this time, I'm really going to go. I'll be back Tuesday to share another recipe with you all. If you missed my recipes galore segment on last Tuesday, I cook every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So please check me out there. I'll be cooking live here. I usually go live at 1:30. Quick meals, desserts, sides. Last week we made gluten-free lemon berry coffee cake. Yum. So I'm not sure what I'm cooking on Tuesday, but it's going to be yummy. How many minutes you put the baby bottle in the microwave with the formula? I don't microwave baby bottles. It gets too hot in the middle. And a lot of times you feel the outside of the bottle and you're like, oh, it's not warm enough. And then you heat it up some more. And you feel the outside of the bottle, oh, it's still not warm enough. And you heat it up some more. When the inside, the middle, the very core of that bottle is piping hot, the outside around the perimeter is still kind of cool. If you shake that bottle up, you're shaking up bubbles. I don't I don't put bottles in the microwave. And especially do not put breast milk in the microwave. Ever, ever, ever. You kill everything in it. Ever. I use a baby bottle warmer. And I like the kind that have like the dial where it says because the water temperature only gets hot enough for, okay, so 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 3 ounce, 4 ounces, or at least it has a low, medium, and high. It tells me like a little temperature gauge to say, okay, this is how hot this water's gonna get. So, and I always check it to make sure that it's warm enough. And then I always test it on my wrist, on the inside of my wrist, to make sure it's not too hot. If it's too hot on the inside of my wrist or on the back of my hand, then I'm not gonna give it to the baby. We're gonna find something else to do. Go change a pamper, do whatever we need to do while this bottle cools off. Throw it off in the freezer for a few minutes so it can cool off. What is the proper way to check baby's milk is warm? Oh, sorry, I just did that. Okay, I think I just answered your question. All right. Thank you. Have a great evening. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you all for joining me. Please follow me. Like my videos. Share them with your friends, your families, new moms, old moms that are having new babies. So, friends that, have friends. Use formula. Okay. Hold on. Do I have a favorite stroller? I do. I like the City Trends stroller and I like the Bob. The Bob has several, City Trends has several different strollers, and so do the Bob. It just depends on whether you want the Pinto or the Cadillac. But those are the two that I like. And I like the jogging strollers because I like walking with my babies. I like getting them outside and I like walking with them. Now, good night, good night, good night. If you have any other, can we see my baby? Y'all, you want to see my baby? This is my baby. This is my bobblehead baby. All right. Good night, everyone.